It's 6:30 a.m. Sunday morning, folks, so grab your coffee, sit down, and enjoy Laura Crowley, Doug DeForest, coming to you almost live from Houston, the biggest little city in Texas County. It's the people, sights, sounds, and tastes of downtown Houston after hours. Now here's your hosts, Doug DeForest and Laura Crowley. Welcome back to downtown Houston after hours this week, and we are halfway through the season already, Laura.
We are.
We're just trucking right along. I'm
Fast.
Doug DeForest.
I'm Laura Crowley.
And it's good to see you.
You too.
You feeling okay?
I am.
Everything's going good?
Mean as
Summer's,
ever.
Yeah, well, I know that. Summer's going pretty good?
It is.
You know, today we're going to have a guy on that is in charge of, every small town. The center, besides the church, as we've talked about, is the school.
That's right.
And Houston schools are undergoing a lot of changes since I've been there.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to have a lot of the changes that are coming on, and our superintendent, Mr. Dill, is going to be with us today.
And Mr. Dill's with us,
changes.
and they're doing a construction project over there, which is kind of running a little long.
It is.
So you might say Mr. Dill's in a pickle. Oh, God.
The
Can't
jokes
believe I
on this
said
one.
that. Anyway, so he's going to come on and explain to us all about what's going on over at the school because, I went to school there.
I know you did.
Graduated there, class of 79.
Wow.
I think most of us almost lived.
I was
Great.
3.
You are. 79. You were born in 76? Everybody do the math. Women don't usually tell their age. Do the math.
I'm 38.
Are you?
No.
38.
38.
That's not possible, is it really?
I keep saying it's not possible because my children keep getting bigger and older. I have a 19-year-old, and I'm just like, I'm really not old enough to have a 19-year-old child, and he informs me I clearly am. So
Yeah, well, there you go.
there it is.
So we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Mr. Dill all about
Yes.
Houston schools, one of my favorite things in the world because I'm a lifelong Tiger. Yeehaw.
Tiger fan.
And so when we come back, he'll be on the show with us. We also have the 2-Minute Chef.
We do.
We're going to go down to Bob's Barber Shop and hear a really bad joke.
Lots of jokes.
And then, are any of them any good?
Not yet.
Well, I think maybe this week he might have a showstopper.
That's all right.
And
good.
then let me see what else is going on our show. We have
We
those two
have
things.
What is it, the bad news?
Oh, yes, it's Rick and Rocky with Dumb News.
Dumb news, that's it.
From the Rooster, which of course we're in our new studios here at MPI. MPI is downtown. It's where the new home of the Rooster is going to be.
That's right. We are on Crowley's Corner.
This is Crowley's Corner. You can see the sign back there. And just in case you didn't think that we were smiling enough, we're going to show you somebody who smiles all the time.
Oh, no.
What do you think, creepy Filipino guy? See, I told you, he's so happy.
He is rather happy.
All right, well, folks, when we come back, we'll have Mr. Dill from the Houston schools. He's a lot more serious than us. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We've been making landmarks in Houston for years. You can be a landmark too. Come on by.
Here for you, Landmark Bank. Here for you. Crowley's Homeworks, turning houses into
From the first look at Crowley's Homeworks, you will notice the thousands and thousands of ideas for any home project. Crowley's Homeworks has the best selection in the country. You don't have to drive miles to make your home beautiful. Just come on out to Crowley's Homeworks. 3 convenient locations to serve you.
Crowley's Homeworks, turning houses into
Crowley's Homeworks, Houston, Salem, and Mountain Grove. Time for some downtown Houston after hours shout-outs. Shout out to United Country Realty Kabul in Houston, Barb Head 967-2221 or Stacy Matherly 962-4711 in Kabul. Texas County's only national real estate franchise. Mike Anderson, your prosecuting attorney. Remember, vote Anderson for proven leadership. Mike Anderson, the right choice for prosecutor. Hyatt Land Title, 1215 South Sam Houston, phone 967-0238. Justin Shelby, your State Farm agent, 6783 Highway 63, phone 967-4152. H&S Flea Market, 8145 North Highway 63, phone 967-1555. Shout out to Neil Sporting Goods, 213 North Grand, phone 967-4444. Shout out to Dr. Joe Richardson, DDS, 321 South 2nd Street, phone 967-4528. That's just some of our downtown Houston after hours area shout outs. Well, Laura, as promised, we have Mr. Scott Dill here with us. Scott, it's great to see you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Nice
it.
to have you here. Laura tells me so much about you and the great job you're doing over at the school.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I graduated from Houston High. I had the luxury of doing that back, I said, in 1979.
And you're doing okay.
Well, I'm not doing too bad.
There you go.
I don't know if this is really okay. I'm on a fake set in a fake room. No, but anyway, we actually had a wonderful program there. Our arts program in those days was second to none. And even though the funding is continually cut on by the state for arts, and I hate that. I'm sorry. I'm just really against that. But I noticed that our band kicks butt. It is an awesome band. You have a band director, second to none.
Band, Mr. Roy takes care of us in band, does a great job there. Of course, it doesn't end with band.
No.
Choir,
Yes.
the performing arts, our art students, with Mrs. Keller, they all do an amazing job. The arts in Houston are alive and well. There's no doubt about it. Very
hard to
proud
do
of those
these
programs.
days.
It is.
Yeah.
It shows the heart of the community, and it shows where our passions are at. And so I'm very proud of those programs and the work that those instructors and those kids do.
Yeah, and I'll have to talk to Laura about this much. Without, back in my days, it was Bob Rippey and Miss Bullock. Without those two folks, my life wouldn't have been the same. I mean,
bet.
so, the teachers are a very important part of our life, and now we have a new facelift going on. You want to tell us about the facelift of the school this summer?
Well, back in April of 2012, we passed a bond issue, and we thought we'd be a little further along than we are now. We had some entanglements, and then we've had some weather this summer, and then it just turns out that construction takes a really long time. And so it is what it is, and we are very thankful. We're working with Gentry Construction. Of course, Mr. Gentry is homegrown as well.
He
And
graduated about the time I did.
there's not a footprint on our campus right now that doesn't have a Gentry footprint someplace in it, and so we're very pleased to be working with him again.
That's wonderful.
They're concentrating on the cafeteria expansion right now, and hopefully we'll have that ready to go sometime mid-fall, and then at that point, we move into the larger expansion, which is the connecting piece between the middle school and high
Now,
school.
we're looking at pictures right now of the construction project. We know that there is a centerpiece building that the communities were very divided on, an older building that was there when I was there, and I know that the building is in bad disrepair. What is going to go on with that building?
Actually, at the moment, we're going to hands off on that building. We understand how important it is to the local community, and it's important to us that we focus on what we can do and not worry about those things that are going to be divisive in our community. We were able to have the construction we needed, provide the additional classrooms, the additional cafeteria space, the additional offices and library space.
Without having to tackle that problem.
Without having to worry about that at all. And so, there's been talk in the community about what should happen with that building, and we're more than open to suggestion on that. Right now, sits where it is. It is currently unused.
Yeah, well, it's not usable at this point. And-
As is,
Yeah,
correct.
as is, and we all know that. I know when I went to school there, the big problem was there was simply no way to air condition it, and now it's went into almost a condemned disrepair. But in the community, just like they're doing with the Melba, people often come on and are our little saviors for our small communities, and they often come up with ideas that we don't think of.
You bet.
So like you said, you're proud to hear any responses from the locals on anything pro or con.
You bet.
What you like hearing.
Well, my office door is always open, and there are a few people who have questioned me on that, and they've tested to see. If you come in the middle of the night, sometimes it's locked, but other than that, no, we've got an open door policy, and it's important that people recognize that although I'm responsible for running the school district, this school belongs to the people of Houston. And
Yeah, exactly.
long before I was here and long after I leave, this school will be here, and it belongs to the people of Houston.
Let's talk about the enrollment right now. Both of your kids are in school, or
I have one that's already graduated, so I have one that'll be a freshman this
did he
year.
graduate last year?
He did.
So he's out and about, but you still have a freshman in school.
I do.
And so Houston schools greatly impacts your family.
Absolutely.
At this point.
Band has always been something that the children have been involved with, jazz band as
Mm-hmm.
well as regular band and marching band and all of those things. So that's a wonderful program that we know that has
Yeah.
been successful for them. And also just the teachers and the communication that you have and the ability to, approach them.
Our classrooms are
It's-
basically over here, 27, 28 to 1? I mean, they're pretty normal, right?
Relatively normal, yeah.
Yeah.
We have standard classroom sizes. We try to, at the lower elementary, reduce those even further because that's where the kids are learning to read and you need more one-on-one time.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
right.
So,
So that's something as a superintendent you have to tackle, not just paying the bills and keeping the board happy, but you have to actually tackle those day-to-day things about how do we make the classrooms work for the kids. A lot of people don't understand the job of a superintendent. When I was in school, I just feared him. I feared my life from him because Mr. Webb had a scar and we all thought he was going to kill you, and the truth was, when I graduated, he was a very nice man. But their job was so much more than any child out there knows. I mean, your job is, it doesn't end when the bell rings.
oh, absolutely not. And, unfortunately, a superintendent it's about as far away from the kids as you can get and be in the school business. And yet the job is essential to what we do. You know, I've been in this position finishing, what, 2.5, 3 years now. And I miss the kids. I miss that daily interaction. I mean, they're the reason I got into this business in the first place. However, I recognize that from my position as superintendent of schools, I can do a lot of good for a lot of kids.
Absolutely.
And it comes down to, are the kids learning every single day? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. And what are we doing that's good for kids today? And so, if you know, at the end of the day, my job is to put everybody else in position where they can work directly with the kids and meet their needs educationally, ensure that they are ready to become productive members of our republic in the 21st century, and carry on a great tradition here in Houston.
You know, we hear a lot out here about the issue of Common Core. It's an issue that's on everybody's mind, both pro and con.
You bet.
You know, and we all see the benefits of learning. However, we see the problems with the federal government taking it over. What is Missouri's position in that? In other words, how does that affect your job? But there's obviously a lot of great things, big problems that come out with administrating such a program.
Well, really, I mean, we've had standards the entire time I've been in education, even going back to my days as a student in Missouri. We've had standards. This is just another set of standards that we're using. The most recent action taken by the governor has actually, they're trying to reformulate some committees around the state to put new standards out for mathematics and science. Those are due out in a couple years. And I am working very hard to try and secure a seat on those advisory committees so that Houston has a voice. I feel like we have a lot to say.
The Spring Hill dairy farmer squints, looking up in the sky. He praises, kicks the dust, says downtown Houston it's way too dry. Clouds up in the city, the weatherman complains. But where I come from, Texas County, born and bred, I love you, Ben Davis. Rain is a good thing. Rain makes milk. Rain makes grass. Grass makes milk. Milk makes my paycheck at Spring Hill Dairy that much bigger. Rain down on my farm. Please, dear Lord, send me some. My cows are giving milk. My bulls are having fun. Rain is a good thing, yeah. Rain is a good thing. I love you, downtown Houston, Missouri.
Corner Express Shell wants to tell you one thing. If you try RV gas in your old clunker, you might see a magical change from that clunker into something very special, a high-performance lifter. Try V-Gas at Corner Express Shell, the last locally owned and operated convenience store in Houston, Missouri.
Why move your family or your business to Houston? Because Houston has it, an open and friendly government.
And our airport with a 3,500-foot runway and new offices and hangars.
Very little crime, safe streets, and a caring community.
Houston also has one of the 13 remaining drive-in movie theaters in the state of Missouri.
A full-time director of economic development and a booming industrial park.
Living in Houston, you're part of a very caring community.
Houston Schools provides 21st century skills for college and career readiness.
A 9-hole golf course with lots of fun for the whole family. Free lessons given as well. Many lakes, streams, and rivers just a short drive away. Beautiful homes just waiting for you. Did we mention our caring community?
So if you're considering moving your family or business to Houston, we hope you'll consider Houston, because Houston has it.
Shout out to the Office Bar, 116 North Grand, phone 967-7128. Our friends at Double R Pond, 203 South Grand, phone 967-2706. Barnhart Financial, 1463 Sam Houston, phone 967-4700. Shout out to Bob's Barbershop, 112 North Grand, 217-9719. Shout out to Animal Shelter of Texas County, 6931 East Highway 17, phone 967-0700. Shout out to Darren's Body Shop, 8100 Middle Drive, Houston, phone 967-3074.
And now it's time for the 2-Minute
I
Chef.
wonder what he's cooking today, because I'm ready to eat.
Me too.
Ian Dreesen.
I'm Ian Driesel, I'm the 2-Minute Chef, and today I'm going to show you how to make my version of cream corn. First, we're going to start with some corn on the cob that I just husked. Cut the corn off the cob. I'm going to cut this cob in half. I'm I'm gonna put it in about a pint of cream. And then in that cream, I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of salt, a couple of bay leaves, and a pinch of nutmeg. Now whenever you're seasoning with nutmeg, you put some on your hand and you just kind of scrape it off. You don't need hardly any nutmeg at all or it'll overpower everything. I'm going to take this over to the stove. I'm going to put that on high heat. I'm going to bring the cream to a boil to scald it, and I'm going to turn it off and let that corn cob seep in there a little bit. I'm going to take an onion and dice it. I'm really only going to use about a quarter of this onion, so I'm going to save this part for later. I'm going to dice this up at a small dice, but not too small. Alright, our cream is boiling, so we're going to shut that off real fast. We're going to let that corn seep in there, the corn cob, so that that cream picks up all that good corn flavor. Next thing, we're going to start by turning on a saute pan on about medium-high heat. We're going to throw a good chunk of grass-fed butter in there and let that come to a nice hot temperature. Now that our butter's nice and hot, we're going to take these onions, throw in the pan. You want to hear a nice little sizzle on there. Then we're going to salt them. Now what salting them is going to do is it's going to bring out all the natural juices of the onions called sweating. Alright, we're going to let those go for just a minute. And once our onions are nice and sweated, we're going to add our corn. Now while that's cooking a little bit, we're going to strain out this cream mixture. And you just discard all this, or you can feed it to your hogs, it doesn't really matter. And we're going to add about a cup of that mixture to the corn and onion mixture. Stir that in, and we're going to let it reduce. Alright, once that's reduced enough, you can tell, dip your back of your spoon in it, and if you can run your finger down the back of the spoon and it stays on each side of the back of the spoon, that's called nappe, which is a really good consistency for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 small pads of butter, and we're just going to kind of swish it around in the pan until that butter melts. What that's going to do is kind of add a richness and a nice sheen on top of the cream corn, just for a little bit of better presentation. Just going to put that in a bowl. We'll be ready to serve. I'm Ian Driesel. I'm the 2-Minute Chef, and this is my version of cream corn.
Now it's time for the dumb news with Rick and Rocky.
That's right, from the Rooster 99.3. Let's hear what them boys got to say.
Now time for Dumb News with Ricky V.
Thanks, Rockstar. Love to be on your show, especially when it's TV. Welcome to the Dumb News. A guy in New York ordered a salad and found a rusty screw inside it. Ironically, the name of the place he was eating at was called just Salad. I didn't write it, I'm just making it up. Also, someone in China found a cockroach inside one of their salads, Rockstar, and the waitress...
They call it dessert, right?
They do, actually. That's what she did. She just ate it, trying to convince him it was a real salad. That's the Dumb News, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
And now let's go down to Bob's Barbershop. I'm going to climb in the chair and let's see what kind of joke Bob has for us today. Can't be good.
Hi, I'm Bob. Here's another joke for you. A guy steps out of a barbershop and meets a guy walking out and down the street. He says, "Hey, what do you think of that barbershop in there?" He goes, "Man, I don't know." He said, the guy kept spouting out 4-letter words as he was cutting my hair. He said, "What did he say?" He said, "Oops, that's a bad joke."
Welcome back to Downtown Houston After Hours. Your golf tip of the week this week concerns your posture. If you don't set up to the golf ball in the proper way, then it's going to create havoc on your swing. So what we've taught out here is to stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, Put a flex in your legs and your knees. Your knees and your legs are very important in a golf swing. Put a flex in it, and then you want to tilt and bend at the waist in a way that keeps your weight on the balls of your feet. You keep your butt stuck out in the back, your shoulders square to the line, and you should have a posture that looks something like that. We appreciate your time and invite you to keep watching Downtown Houston After Hours.
Hi Brady, how are you?
Corner Express Shell is Houston's only locally owned and operated convenience store where we treat you like family.
At Corner Express Shell, we treat you right, one smile at a time. Corner Express Shell, Houston, Missouri. And now it's time for some Downtown Houston After Hours shout-out. Shout out to Progressive Ozark Bank, 1460 South Sam Houston, phone 967-4196. Pizza Express, 1450 South Sam Houston, phone 967-4473. Donnie Wells Shelter Insurance, 610 South Grand, phone 967-2400. Shout out to our friends at D&L Flores, 1468 South Sam Houston, phone 967-3705. Brad Eads, an attorney at law, 112 East Main Street, phone 967-4747. Shout out to the Houston Chamber of Commerce, 501 East Walnut, phone 967-2220. Oakwood Golf Course, 7453 Country Club Lane, phone 967-3968. Ackerson Insurance, 111 West Main Street, phone 967-2600. Martin's Plumbing, 1591 North Highway 63, phone 217-3113. And our friends at Houston Bowl, 610 Highway B, phone 967-3211.
Of a chance by the folks round Black Rock. She was bounced around her kinfolk most of the time. Her day didn't work, and mama liked to drink hard liquor. She was an Arkansas diamond looking for a place to shine. Shine on, girl. Ooh. Shed life behind her. Rode a thumb to the interstate and left her behind. One ride after another, she told her story about an Arkansas diamond looking for a place to shine. Sometimes your first look don't tell the story. At an Arizona truck stop. She had a feel of lies and cheesy come on lines. So she hitched a ride to the next door neon city. That Arkansas diamond looking for a place to shine. Sometimes your first look don't tell the story. She runs that old black ribbon all the time. If you buy her a cup of coffee, she'll be quick to tell you about an Arkansas diamond looking for a place to shine. Sometimes your first look don't tell the story. Your mind is second glance divine. That sparkle hid away in all its
Well, Laura, we had a great week this week. We had Mr.
did.
Dill. You know something? He's pretty interesting fella.
He really is.
He's
Very
serious,
nice.
very serious.
But very approachable for the kids, too. That's what I like about
He is,
him.
you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of kids, folks, you know, this season we're really focusing a lot on community spirit and faith.
Yes.
We have a lot of fun on Downtown Houston After Hours, and we certainly respect folks and their opinions, but here in this show, we have a great faith in our one true creator. And,
Absolutely.
And if there's anything I can tell you, I told you this on a show earlier, but I want to tell you again. Folks, the true number since 1973, 56.5 million heartbeats were ended with abortion. And whatever side you come down on, those are facts that you need to know. You need to know this thing because in that number could have been the man that cured cancer. In that number could be any number of things. And I just ask you to really keep in your hearts these people and try to change. Remember, adoption is an option.
Absolutely.
A great option. So I hate to be heavy, but sometimes you just got to say those things because, you know, there are things that need to be addressed in this world. And we're just proud that we live in a community that centers its faith around God.
Absolutely.
And
so many churches here
Oh, yeah.
and great people willing to pray with you no matter where you are or whatever your situation happens to be. I don't think that you can go very many places and still feel that other than a small town.
I was telling them that, you know, earlier in the season we had
Duncan Smith.
Duncan Smith in here, and it was so great because he walked over to Laura. Laura was about to have a surgery, and he goes out the door and he comes back in and says, "Can I pray with you?"
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is Sunday morning, so we can talk religion real easy. Yeah. But he comes right back in the door and prays, and it was a beautiful spirit in the room.
Absolutely.
These aren't things that are spooky. This is just small town America at its finest. Yeah. And we're glad you're here with us, and we hope you come back next week, right here on Downtown Houston After Hours. See you later.
Hop in the car, going to the bar tonight. You got a rig full of friends, club full of bands, alright. No, we're not worried, we tell a story just like this. Come and get some if you want some.